Al met me in New York. I had no real friends or family or anything, so to see him, it was such a big relief. You know, I think we both flew into one another's arms like that. I know there were one or two people around us, a couple of them were kind of laughing at us, but you know, it was so good to have somebody there that you knew you wanted to be with and knew he wanted to be with you too. It was nice. And we stayed in New York for, I think, about 5 days. And we did, right from the first day, share the same bed. I'm sure my family often wondered. Nobody said anything, but I know. But I wasn't about to tell them either. None of their business. And you know, we hadn't seen one another in 2 or 3 years, which was a long time. And we kept in touch. We wrote every single week, sometimes more than once a week. Mom and Dad, they were not very happy. But as they said, from about 16 on, I spent a lot of my years away from home, traveling as a dancer. And they made no fuss whatever. They said, if this is your life, you're old enough to know what you want to do. And they both said too, and you know another thing, you know the ship goes both ways. If when you get there things don't turn out the same, you know, same thing comes home. I was never tempted to take it. I came here in '45. I stayed with his family, of course. I didn't know anyone. And I was here for 3 months before we were married. He was Catholic, and he said he would like me to join the Catholic Church. So for 3 months, I went to classes and studied to become a Catholic. And then the following Saturday, the 19th of April, we were married. 2 years later, I had this son. Oh, the joy of our lives, believe me. And then a couple of years later, we had a daughter, Michelle. And then I think we went on with pretty much normal lives like most people do. I went to school, actually. I was over here, though, a little longer than that before I became a citizen. I was here for maybe about 5 years. And I went to school and learned everything that I had to know because you have to take a test. And I did, and I graduated. And then, of course, I became a citizen. I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life here. I wanted everything right from the word go. So everything that I had to do, I willingly did. I gave up dancing for quite a few years, and then I took Michelle to a dancing school. And then when she was a teenager, they opened a class for adults that wanted to go. So I went back to dancing class. And then I was there maybe for a couple of years, and I knew I was pretty good at teaching. I had a lot of patience, just put it that way. So then I opened my dancing school. I'd worked one way or another all my life. And then I retired and kind of messed around and did the things I wanted to do. And of course, eventually, Al died, and the grandchildren came along, which is pride of joy, of course. And of course, I've knitted all my life, coming from England. So I knitted for most of my friends, and of course, all my family always had sweaters and all the baby clothes. You know, we all had all that. The sad thing is now, there's a new baby coming in September, and I don't know how much I can knit anymore. I don't have the patience anymore. I knew that when I came here, if I was coming and getting married, that, you know, I had to make the most of it. And so I did wonder several times before I actually got here and thought, well, I can't say now what's happening. I have to wait and see what happens and decide then. But luckily, things turned out real well. I was lucky. Al and I had a good life. Like I think some of the girls over here actually, after a couple of years, gave up over here and went home again because they were so homesick. But you see, I had already lived through all that, so I wasn't bothered. And in all honesty, I've had a very good life over here. I have no complaints whatever. The only thing I'm sad about is that Al died so many years ago. I've thought about this many a time. I think things are meant to be. I went all that way, I went to all these different countries, met all these different guys, and I'm walking along the street and see a guy and stop, because I want to stop and talk with him and wind up spending the rest of my life with him. I truly and believe these are things, these are meant to be. I hate to say, if you have to go against your family, think it out well before you make any plans whatever. Don't do it overnight. But if this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you really and truly know it, then you have to say, Mom and Dad, you did it when you were married, now it's my turn. And I believe you should.